this is Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow with another edition of Healthy Living for Expansions.com. Today we are going to make cream of broccoli soup. And this is an extremely easy recipe to make and very good. You'll love it. So what I have here I want to show you to start with is I have my broccoli, which I've already cleaned and broken up into pieces. You can do frozen broccoli if you want, chopped frozen broccoli, but this is the way I like to do fresh. And I also wanted to show you about the broccoli stems or stalks. The easy way is just to cut it off, because you don't have to throw it away. You know that it's big and you pay for it, so you might as well at least get some good out of it. And I just go around the outside and get that tough part off. Like that. One more. And then what's left inside is really nice and tender, as you can see. You can eat it raw, it's good. You can put it in salads. I'm going to put it in the soup today. But anyway, let me do this other one as well. I just wanted you to see how easy that was to do. And then you can just put that right in with your broccoli. We are going to run all of the ingredients through the food processor. You can chop them up on your cutting board if you don't have a food processor, or you can even put things in whole because you're going to cook it down till everything is nice and soft. And then when it's nice and soft, we can puree it. You can run it through your blender. I have a handheld blender we're going to use. I have garlic. I have probably a good head in here of garlic. Again, if you like garlic, use as much or as little as you want. I have 2 jalapeno peppers, give it a little bit of a kick. I have 3 organic onions, which have been peeled and cleaned, and then I have 1 stalk of celery. Now, a lot of times, and I've chopped them down so I'll go through my food processor, a lot of times people will call this a stalk. This is actually a rib of celery, so the whole long piece is called a rib, and then what you buy in the store is actually called the stalk. And then, for something extra special besides the jalapeno, we're going to put in lemon. So I'm going to talk to you about that first so that you understand about lemon if you're not used to using it. This is lemon, a fresh organic one, which I have zested using a zester. And this is the only way I have ever found to get lemon peel out that is not bitter. The peel on the outside has a really nice lemon flavor, which I've put in here. Once we chop that open, that white around here, this is what is bitter. So if you try to get lemon zest with a knife, I have never successfully done that. I always wind up getting the bitter part. And we're going to actually put lemon in the broccoli soup. It's kind of a little secret ingredient and it is so good, it's amazing. So do that in a little bit. And then just salt and pepper and a little bit of milk or cream to make it creamy. So in my Cuisinart, I have on my slicing blade, and again, you don't have to use a slicer or a Cuisinart. You can just chop it up on your chopping block if you want. So let's go ahead and plug this in so we can get started running things through. And then as this fills up, we're just going to dump it. I wanted to also show you over here into my pot. I have about 2 to 3 quarts of soup stock. Now I did this with the turkey bones the other day, so you've seen me make the broth and the stock. You can also do it with chicken. You can buy in the box organic chicken broth, I believe, which is also really nice, or you can do beef broth if you like, or vegetable broth. It doesn't really matter. But I have this waiting for the vegetables to go into. So let's just run this through the food processor and start that process. Mix in some of the smaller things as we go. Oops. And we're getting pretty full, so we'll dump this and then we'll get on to the next group of vegetables. You can see it goes really fast. It's an easy thing to do. This is going to go into our broth. And of course, as things cook down, they're going to add to the liquid. So you don't want to, even though your vegetables are going to really fill up your pot, you're not going to want to add a lot of liquid thinking, oh, I don't have enough in there, but you'll be surprised when it cooks down. The juices from the vegetables I'm going to add. So next we're going to go ahead and do our broccoli. Getting close to getting filled. It goes fast, and like I said, you know, you can chop things up and put it on your chopping block as well. Here the dog's talking to us in the background. I'm going to dump this into our pot. So you can see we're filling up. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on so it can start to simmer and start to break things down a bit. And we're going to go ahead and put in our celery next. Plug that in. And of course, I had to cut the ribs down so that they fit. But it does help to break them up a little bit. And we will be done. Okay, and then that's going into our pot. Okay, and that's going in. You can see we've got a pot that's really filled. This is going to cook down in no time. You will be amazed. And let's just stir it around, see what it looks like. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the lemon zest, like I was telling you about. I'm going to go ahead and zest one more lemon. Now you can use lemon juice if you want versus a fresh lemon. Let me put it on here. But I like to do a fresh one if I can find it. And that also because I have this little zesting tool that allows me to put in a little bit more lemon flavor with the soup stock itself. So I'm going to put that in. That should be enough. And again, you can adjust however much you want to use or not use. That, and then I already have my lemon cut over here. So I'm just going to give it a couple more cuts. And I'm putting the juice of a lemon. And this is a pretty good sized one. So I'll just squeeze that in as well. This will all cook together, and just put this in, and then we'll do our salt and pepper. Probably going to put in about a good tablespoon of good quality sea salt, and I'll put in 2 teaspoons of organic black pepper, the seasoning. And we'll pick out a couple little lemon seeds that fell out. But because we're going to blend this, it's really not a big deal if they stay in your soup. Okay, so next, salt and pepper. And as I said, a good tablespoon. Good quality sea salt is excellent. Contains 84 different minerals that your body needs, trace minerals. The black pepper, organic, give it a couple of teaspoons. And you could do, depending on how spicy you wanted, you could do a little red pepper in there as well. But I have those 2 jalapenos, so we'll try that first. Alright, and then we're just going to stir it together a little bit. And you can see already the liquid is kind of starting to catch up with the vegetables. It will break down a little bit as it cooks, and you want to keep your eye on it because you don't want anything to burn. If you do need to add a little bit of steamed distilled water as you go, or a little bit more broth, either one is acceptable. It will all flavor, well, the broth will flavor your soup, obviously. Steamed distilled water won't, but it will help because you don't want it to burn as it's simmering. But anyway, we're just going to leave it sit here and simmer on the stove for an hour or so. And we'll come back and check it, and then we'll see what's going on and what it looks like. Okay, let's take a look at the soup. And you can see after about 20 minutes how it's all starting to simmer down. And of course, as I told you, all the liquid's coming out of your vegetables. So it's starting to come into be a really beautiful soup for you. And I realized as I'm standing here stirring it that I forgot to put in the potatoes, and that's what helps make it creamy. So I pulled out a couple of potatoes. I washed them. I like to use them with the skin. If I thought about it, I would have run it through my food processor, but I've already cleaned that up, so I went ahead and chopped one. I'm going to go ahead and just put that right into the soup, and it'll cook quite quickly actually in there. And I'll do another one, and because I kind of make my recipes up as I go, I forgot to lay out the potatoes. So, and again, you don't have to put the potato in, but it gives it a little extra flavor, a little extra smoothness and creaminess once we get to blending everything all together. So I'll just put this in here. And we'll just kind of stir that into our mix. And I'll cover it and come back and check on it just a little bit because like I told you, you don't want it to stick to the bottom with all the veggies. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're going to check on our soup over here. And you can see it's still steaming hot, but everything is all nice and blended together and cooked down so it's soft and ready to blend. Now, if you don't like creamed soup, you can eat it like this. It's very delicious. You might want to add in a little bit of meat of some kind, sausage, it could be buffalo, it can be beef, it can be chicken, it can be turkey, but anything at this point is good. It doesn't really matter, and then of course you want to check your salt and pepper to taste, but we're going to blend it. We're going to make a cream soup. So this is my handheld blender. If you don't have one, you can also use an upright blender, regular blender, to cream it. It's up to you. Anyway, I'm just going to put on low and just start the process. If you like, you can see how there's still bits of your vegetables in here. You can leave it like this as well. So you have a little cream soup with a little bit of vegetables floating around too. So again, kind of go with whatever you like, but I'm going to cream it a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to leave mine with a few little chunks of things in it. And then you just take whatever you want to use for your cream. You can use cream, you can use milk. I use the goat's milk, of course. I'm just going to pour a little bit in. Maybe a cup or two. You can put in the whole quart or a couple quarts, depending again on how you like your soup. I guess the cat likes her soup. So I put in just about a cup. We're going to put in another cup. The cat thinks I should put in another cup, I guess. Where is the cat? Catch her. That's Luna. We don't get to see her very often. She's actually a Bengal cat. And she thinks that she ought to have soup today, apparently. She thinks she is a lion. Okay, you can see how nice that's looking. I'll put a little bit more. So I have a pretty big pot of soup. I have about 3 cups of the goat milk in here. And then I'll probably season it to taste a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper. I may want to add a little bit more of the lemon in to give it a really interesting flavor. And there you have it, cream of broccoli soup, a nice wonderful soup on a hearty, snowy, wintry day up here in Michigan. Thank you so much for joining me again. Janet Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow, HealthyLivingExpansions.com. Bye-bye. And here we are with my kitchen helpers waiting for their little treats, whatever it is we might give them. And of course here we have Buddy. He's our elk hound that was abused at one point. Let's see if he wants another bite of apple. Buddy, if I point to him, he'll sit, because he knows he's going to get a treat. Sit. Here we go. Okay, so he's got a treat. Cats are waiting for their treats. And you're going to relax and enjoy some cream of broccoli soup. Take care until next time. Bye-bye.